Good morning. It's been a while since I dropped a new video, but I did want to bring the information that Crystal Conley she is a public adjuster.
Yes, I am.
And we are actually part of another networking group together. And when I heard what Crystal does, I was so impressed and saw that it really does integrate well with anybody that owns a home, anybody that is in the process of purchasing a home.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
So I'm going to turn it over to her and let her tell you a little bit about what she does.
Thank you, Carolann, so much for this opportunity to be here.
Sure.
So yeah, as she said, I'm a public adjuster, so I'm licensed and bonded with the state of South Carolina with the Department of Insurance. So it means I'm legit. I have an NPN number. You can look me up. So what I do is public adjusting. What does that mean? That means I'm an advocate for the insured who has a policy. So if you're a business owner or you are a homeowner and you own a commercial building or a residential home, you have an insurance policy. And what I do is I make sure that you are treated fairly in the event that you have a claim on your home. You filed a claim with your insurance on your property because you have damage, and you want to make sure that you get treated fairly. My job is to make sure that the insurance company properly identifies you and you get paid fairly based on your policy. And so that looks a little different for every person depending on the insurance company. Sometimes the process is a little quicker, sometimes it's a little slower. By the end of it all, the end goal is to make sure that the insured feels like they've been properly represented and they get the money they deserve tax-free with my help.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, when Crystal and I were first introduced and she first told me what she did, I was like,
What's a public adjuster?
well, I mean, how do I not know about
Yeah.
this? Because I've been in real estate almost 20 years. So it's like, how do we, with, representing people and purchasing houses and then, even sticking with them after the closing
Yes.
table. So we then at that time become a resource, we hope, if we do our job right. And they can reach out and ask us for help when they get into these situations. So can we just kind of like look at maybe an instance to where you might be able to help somebody?
Sure.
So like, I'm going to use this. This really happened to somebody, so I'd be interested to hear your take. But say we're redoing a kitchen, doing a full tear out of an older home, redoing a kitchen, and we get to the ceiling and we see that there has been a leak. So all of the sheathing underneath the roof coming down to some of your main structure in the wall. Is that something that you could look at in insured's policy?
Absolutely. So usually what we would want to first identify is this the first time that the insured is seeing this? We also want to identify that the insured has coverage on that policy. So making sure that, if they're a homeowner, that they have the typical all risk or open peril or special form policy, usually with the HO3 homeowner policy, that they have those perils covered, which they usually do, to be able to cover things like accidental water of discharge or overflow of waters is one of the perils that is listed there. And then identifying if there's a plumbing issue, identify if it's a roof leak issue, and those are typically covered under a typical HO3 policy. But that would allow me to come into the home and just do an assessment and a scope of the home and to see, and from there pretty much we can make a pretty solid decision and knowing that it's a valid claim and justifiable on behalf of the insured and represent the insured and calling the insurance on that. A lot of times with first-time buyers, when they 9 times out of 10 they have a loan, a mortgage loan, they need all these things to get in place, and they also need to have a policy on their home to make sure that everything is insured. And what usually happens is they go to an agent with a popular commercialized insurance company to get something on their home. And usually the agent that works up that policy really doesn't have any clue what they're selling to the insured. But a lot of times what they do tell the insured is, make sure your premium is low and here you go, here's the coverage on your home. And then the insured has no idea what they have until something happens to their house. So what we actually want to do is during the process that they're with you and you're giving them tours around the house and letting them know what they need on their home, such as if they need assistance with mortgage loans and stuff like that, that they have the opportunity to sit down with me, a public adjuster, to go over their policy if they have a policy that is being recommended to them from their broker or their insurance agent, that before they really sign on anything and agree to something, that they sit down with me and we go over the coverage just to make sure that there's no insurance gaps, no coverage gaps, that they're not underpaying or they're overpaying on something they don't need to. So I find that really beneficial, so that way the insured is not in a position of believing that they're safe and covered on their new home and find out that they're not when something happens.
Yeah, that's a bad time to find out you're not covered.
Yeah.
Once something happens.
Right. And then you end up calling me asking
right.
for my help, and I have to tell you the bad news. Go ahead and give you recommendations to get the policy changed, but in the event that something's already happened and you're not covered, it makes it a very difficult case to fight.
Right. And then the other thing that I want to touch on is, well, there's two things. So you get paid actually by the insurance company.
That's correct.
Right? Not by the homeowner.
That's correct. So the policyholder, whether it be the homeowner or the business owner, doesn't pay me a dime. The services that I have for them are completely free, so they get that free policy coverage review, and they get a free property inspection, and that can be virtual or in person. Those services are free, and any money that I'm able to bring to the table for the insured, the policyholder, the insurance company pays me on the back end of that entire settlement amount. So there's a percentage that comes from that.
And how are you received by the insurance companies?
I am called the insurance police. That is my tagline. It's been a great pleasure serving my community, and the desire is to really show all homeowners and business owners the purpose of having a public adjuster. I think everyone needs to know what they have. You don't know what you don't know until you're properly educated on what you have, and that's my job, is to simply educate the policyholder on their policy to make sure they're properly protected, and then advocate for them in the event that something goes wrong. Or it's just something as simple as, hey, I had an insurance claim and I thought it was closed. Here's my estimate. Can you have me look at it again to see if I've been paid properly? We call that a settlement double check. So it's something as simple as that. The point is to make sure that you are fully aware and educated, and then you can tell someone else, hey, I know someone who can at least check and make sure that you guys are covered and that you have the right insurance and the right policy to make sure your family's protected, and that's my goal.
And on a settlement double check, is there like a timeline?
So, ideally, if you've had a claim that's been opened and been worked on within a year or about a year, I can go back and challenge those claims and open them back up.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this today. I think this is going to be I think this is going to educate so many people on a service that they didn't even know was out there.
It's insurance, insurance agents know that we exist, but that's something that they'll try to keep quiet. They will definitely make insureds, the policyholder, believe that the insurance company is on their side, and to the agents that do well, thank you. But the insurance agent is there to protect the insurance company. The agent has to keep as much money in the insurance company's pocket. My job is to take the insurance company's money from them, because it actually belongs to the homeowner or the policyholder, the business owner.
Okay, well, again, it's Crystal Conley.
Yes.
And she is a public adjuster. We are going to drop all of her information below the video, so that if anybody has any questions, or if you would like to get your policy reviewed, you can reach out to her directly, and I would definitely encourage you to do so. Thanks so much.